Welcome back to the Heritage Hikers. I'm Mark Richards.
I'm Pete Sevin.
Well, it's great to be back. We're back in Hadrian's Wall country by popular demand. Where are we at the moment, Pete?
We're standing next to the only in-situ Roman milestone on the Staingate, and just in front of us is Vindolanda, the marvellous fort which has been excavated at the moment and definitely worth a visit.
It's an interesting site. It's been excavated annually for how many years?
Oh, goodness me. Well, the trust was set up in 1970, so quite a long time, and antiquarians and academics before that as well.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting site. There's lots of history in this area, and we're planning to do a circular walk, a 4-mile circular walk. Where are we going, Pete?
Well, we're just going to go up the hill and reach Milking Gap, which is where the Hadrian's Wall path starts, cut along Hot Bank Crags to the iconic fort of Housesteads and Crindle Dykes, and then back here to the stone again.
Makes an interesting circuit. It's genuine wall country. It's a walk that not everybody is aware of, but it's a very good, succinct way of experiencing all the ingredients of Hadrian's Wall, from the Staingate, which predates Hadrian's Wall, to all the infrastructure of the wall, including a fascinating Roman fort.
So I hope you can join us. Well, the first section's always the hardest on a lot of walks, and certainly a pull up this hill, but if we turn around we do have the view of Vindolanda behind us, which is always a welcome sight to see us on our way. One of the small flies in the ointment about this walk is the fact that we have to walk along the military road for a short spell, which is never a good thing to do on a road that can be quite busy. So we were walking facing the traffic on the right hand side, so oncoming traffic can see us, and just a minute or so we'll be off this route again, so we can be safely back onto the trail.
Strategic moment where we cut through the line of the vallum. It's a great example of it here. We'll see a bit, we can see more of it, but actually this bit is an absolute classic. And ahead of us you see the winding track leading to the spillway of a glacier known as Milking Gap, and to the left of it before the bank is an Iron Age settlement, and even today there's a calf and there's ewes nestled amongst it. You get the sense of agricultural continuity, and of course it was operating until the Romans came and requisitioned it, but because they're large stones, the Romans didn't need to use them. They just evacuated the people who were here. Interesting here, adjacent to the Iron Age settlement at Milking Gap, we've got a herd of loafing galloways. These are distinctive of this setting, not the rooks who are flying around here all the time, black, but they are what has been bred here for generations. Hundreds of years have had various variations of galloways who are geared to this cold, wet landscape. But today, of course, it's glorious. So they're lying down and soaking it in. And at this point, the farm access to Hot Bank Crags hits the Roman wall and of course the National Trail, and that's what we're setting about on now.
Here up on the crags we have these interesting butted up sections of Hadrian's Wall, basically where two work crews met as they were building the wall along the crags. There's no mortar, there's nothing holding these together but gravity and some good building. Well, we've just reached the site of turret 38B, which as you can see behind me has been thoroughly demolished, probably in the Roman period. Towards the beginning of the 3rd century, end of the 2nd, they were demolishing a lot of the turrets along this section, leaving barely any standing. There's obviously been a change of plan.
I'm on Cuddy's Crag, which is named after Cuthbert. Whether he was a landowner or Saint Cuthbert, nobody can actually define. But this is one of the classic views of Hadrian's Wall, looking to Housesteads Crags and Housesteads Plantation, and of course the fort itself obscured from this angle beyond the trees. Interesting this, Pete, we're by the north gate of Milecastle 37, which is interesting because it's the only one that has partially got this archway intact. Can you describe it a bit to me, Pete?
Well, we've got the springers that come up either side, which obviously there would have been a gateway with a sort of an arched top on it. We have the original gateway was going to be sort of fairly wide, and what happens is as the foundations have been built, they've actually been not been stable enough to actually deal with the weight of the gateway and the arch above it. So they've actually added these small walls into the side here just to add structure, but it's also narrowed and made the door sort of less accessible to any cavalry that may have wanted to pass out through there.
But there again, the steep slope beyond suggests very few actually went that way.
Probably, yes. There's obviously may have been a ramp that's been excavated and then removed at a later date.
So Pete, what on earth are these structures behind me in the middle of the Milecastle?
Well, they've miraculously survived, and these are the walls of the barrack blocks which the soldiers would have lived in rotation. So they would have been based at, say, Housesteads or one of the other forts along the wall, possibly even Vindolanda, and they would have come up here and serviced the and rotated around inside the Milecastle, maybe for a few days perhaps. There could have been anyone from maybe 8 to 16 people staying in here, I would guess.
And then they were marshalling the actual gateway itself, access through the wall.
Well, some of these are seen as customs posts, and others are just seen as just a way to get out and defend the wall, because the Roman army tended to fight standing battles out in the field rather than defend a fort. So it's probably just so they could get out efficiently. Quickly. Yes. Interesting, the pivot hole from the door.
Yeah, the top one that's come down, presumably.
Yes, because the other one's still in situ, I think, in the doorway.
And then there's a stopper one in the middle. It's lovely in the woods, Pete, isn't it?
Oh, the shade is magnificent.
Normally you come in here just to keep dry.
Oh, not today.
But we haven't had rain today.
No, this
on Hadrian.
This is probably the most Mediterranean weather a Romans could ask for, really. Well, I'm just at the magnificent west gate of Housesteads Fort. This is the halfway point of the walk, and just behind me is the line of the Roman military way, which ran across the crags behind the wall and then headed off eastwards again. So just walking along the wall now, fort wall, quite a magnificent structure. Well, we're just approaching East Crindledike's farm on the walk, heading towards the Staingate Roman road. At this particular point, a series of 5 milestones were uncovered in a cache buried close to this point, which are now in Chester's Museum and well worth seeking out if you can get to Chester's Museum. So, Mark, what are we looking at here?
Well, I'll just give you a tour. This is a Sustrans totem. Sustrans are a sustainable transport organisation based down in Bristol, and they gather funds to support sustainable transport recreational routes. This is Glanaventa, which is Ravenglass, to Arbea, which is South Shields. So it follows the World Heritage Site from west to east on a cyclable route. So this is a symptom of a really good cycling route. It's part of the National Cycle Network that Sustrans have set up, sponsored by the Royal Bank of Scotland, it says on here.
Fantastic. And this is the Staingate we're actually on at the moment, isn't it? The Roman road.
This is the Roman road. Hadrian Cycleway, it says written on here. And it says summit, 255 metres.
Well, we're on the almost to last stretch along the Staingate road, which is still a motor carriageway, and this leads us on to Vindolanda again towards the end of our walk. And it's been a lovely walk, isn't it? Lovely day.
Oh, we're walking into the westerly breeze, and up to our left there is this evidence of bell pits for iron, I believe.
Yeah.
And in the midst of it there was a Roman signal station, which is aligned with this Staingate Roman road. And looking ahead, I can see this road going way beyond Vindolanda. On the hill, it goes towards the Cavoran, in effect, which is just out of sight from here. But it's in itself, it's a great walk. Forget Hadrian's Wall Path, follow the Staingate.
But don't get knocked down. Top tip.
I've just missed a postman, so that car just missed me. I'm doing well. The road is curved off to our left, and at this point, the Staingate heads on down into the Bradley Burn Valley, and you can see it's quite a wide agger in front of us, and you can see that Vindolanda itself is beautifully sunlit. So we're on the home run now.
If you're a regular digger at Vindolanda, or a regular visitor, well, we know this as Cardiac Hill, which we're descending now, and I'm glad we are descending because, boy, it's a steep one to climb from the fort up to the road again.
It's a good nice downhill breeze. It's gorgeous at the moment.
So end of our day, and we're returning to the milestone we set off from. And I hope you enjoyed our little stroll.
And interestingly, Pete mentioned this a few minutes ago, the notion that the actual milestone could have been installed to herald the arrival of Hadrian when he made his solo visit in 1900 years ago next year. So it was like a ceremonial stone, although it's an actual milestone on the staying gate. So it's a fascinating thought that it relates to Hadrian himself.
Unproven, yeah, unproven, but a nice story, and we're all into stories.